Ujamba, Ciao, Hola. 50% of St. Lawrence University students study abroad. We have 6 programs run directly through SLU and 9 affiliated partner programs. Let's see where in the world some of our SLU students have traveled.
I studied abroad in Australia in the fall of 2008.
Why did you choose to go to Australia?
I chose to go to Australia for my major, which is biology and environmental studies combined. It really fits the biology major really well. I was able to study both on the Great Barrier Reef and in the rainforest, and I actually had the opportunity to study alongside a research assistant and have the research that I conducted for him be published in one of the journals that he was working on.
Okay, so how was the semester set up?
The semester was set up as basically we took 4 classes they were all with St. Lawrence students. There's about 25 of us. And then we had a week off in the middle, which we did a lot of traveling. And then the last 6 weeks we had an internship.
What were some of the courses that you took?
Some of the courses, I took an art course, which basically we went to like the National Portrait Gallery. We did a lot of art museums. I took a politics class. And then I took a history class, which was really interesting. And then we took a British culture class.
Tell us one of the best experiences about studying abroad.
Probably the best experience would be the host family. I got really close with my host family, and they were a great way for me to come back and ask any questions I had about the British culture. Also, London is great for other traveling around Europe. So it was great just to have a city where it was easy to travel elsewhere around Europe. And I grew very close with my group who I went abroad with.
You went to Ireland this summer.
Yes, for 3 weeks.
Did you take any courses while you were over there in this summer program?
Yes, I took 2 courses. One was a peace and conflict course, and another was a history course.
Where did you stay when you were in Ireland?
We stayed in 4 cities when I was in Ireland. We stayed in Dublin, Derry, Belfast, and Galway. And we had pretty different living situations. We mostly stayed in hotels, but we also stayed in Galway. We stayed in the University of Galway on a college campus, which is pretty cool.
How come you chose to do a summer program rather than studying abroad during the school year?
Well, I really wanted to go to Ireland, and St. Lawrence doesn't have a semester program for Ireland, and it just fit into my schedule well because I need to get certain credits for a certain major, and it just fit well. It was an awesome trip. I learned a lot. I mean, it was a good balance between hard academic sort of studying and going on tours and meeting people and sort of also having fun and seeing the city, and so it was definitely a good experience.
Hi, I studied abroad in Costa Rica for the spring of 2008. And while I was in Costa Rica, I worked with 2 kids, friends of the directors for the Costa Rica program. And I tutored them in English, teaching them English through games in the backyard, playing pool, watching movies, and just spending time in the house with them. I had a lot of fun doing that. And then I also had my parents come down for 2 weeks to visit, and I was taking tropical ecology, so I took them up to the cloud forests, which is one of the many types of rainforest in Costa Rica, and we traveled around doing guided wilderness adventure stuff, as well as traveling around on our own. We had a great time.
And I went to Austria in 2008, and I was actually there during the Euro Cup, which is the European equivalent of the Soccer World Cup. And it was amazing to be in Kantnerstrasse and Stephansplatz, where that's the main shopping street, and there's a cathedral there, which was under construction at the time. And the fans would be walking down and chanting, or sitting at the pubs and chanting, and they'd be in groups of their country, wearing their flags or their colors for their country with face paint and stuff. And it was just really cool. And sometimes after the games, there would be a bunch of riot police in the Stephansplatz, just in case riots broke out between the fans. And there's also fan zones there, so you could go watch the game on 13 huge TVs, like 30 feet across, and it was just really fun.
Tell us about the FISC program.
Okay, I visited Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee. It's an HBCU, which is historically black college universities, but it's not an exclusive school at all, university at all. There are a lot of people of all different backgrounds there. But it's a very small school. There are a few thousand students there, very small, but it puts a great emphasis on the family-like structure and the community. And it's geared towards history and the arts. They have a great museum on campus, one of the best actually in the country, of African American like artworks and things like that. It's just throwing something out there. One night I was in a room with a bunch of people. They were just cooking spaghetti on like burners and things like that, and they were just saying this is something that you do every day. You know, sometimes people just come out on a random day and bring chalk out and draw on the concrete and their canvas and paint, and then some people might come and sing, and then the Greek life the fraternities come and they start stomping, and because sororities and fraternities are like so deeply ingrained in HBCUs historically. Also, there's much Southern hospitality. It's the epitome of Southern hospitality. Everyone is so welcoming. That's something it seemed pretty rare. You know, everyone's always smiling and always welcoming, and it's very warm down there. I don't know, overall I had a really great experience in meeting a lot of new people and from different backgrounds and people with different ideologies and so many different things, and they know so much history. It's ridiculous. It kind of blows your mind, but it was an awesome experience.
I went to Kenya, and that was in the spring of 2009.
Tell us how the Kenya semester is set up.
Well, there's a compound in Karen, which is it's a town that's outside of Nairobi. It's about 20 minutes, and basically you take classes for a couple weeks and then you travel for a couple weeks, so it's an alternating schedule pretty much. And there's 2 long homestays. There's one that's 2 weeks, and that's in the city, and then there's one that's 1 week, and that's in the rural outskirts, and then there's also a very short one, and that's in the Masai region in southern Kenya, and that's for a couple days.
And on the Kenya semester, you do an independent project?
Yeah, that's for the last month. I was at an organic farming school in this town called Juja, which is outside of Nairobi, and I just took classes with Kenyans and Ugandans for the week, and then on the weekends I had off. And for the last week of that, I went to farms and visited with farmers and talked with them through an interpreter and just asked them questions about organic farming, and it was really interesting.
Do you have one experience of the entire 4 months that sticks out?
Well, I mean, it's hard to pick one, but I would have to say climbing Mount Kenya was pretty amazing. That was that was in our mid-semester break, and it took 3 days to summit and then 2 days to get down. And it's 17,000 feet around, and it was probably the most amazing hike that I will ever do.
Do you have any advice for underclassmen students that may be thinking about studying abroad?
Yeah, well, basically don't go with any expectations, because if you go with expectations, they will probably be wrong. Just keep an open mind and try to be comfortable with yourself. Just kind of go with the flow and have a lot of fun.